So my name is Adaeze, and I am a communications and marketing consultant. Currently, I work with Impact Hub Geneva as a communications lead for one of their programs, Accelerate 2030. I also am the founder of Iron Foundation. Iron Foundation is a nonprofit dedicated to finding holistic solutions to issues that Nigerian women are facing. So we have a project that started with maternal health and addressing some of those challenges in our communities. The reason why I wanted to join the conversation today is that for the longest time I had no idea what I wanted to be or do. I kind of always knew that I wanted to be in the social impact space somehow, but I think I've had a very like non-traditional career journey that has taken me through like different things, but I finally found my path. So I really wanted to encourage people who might also be like me and not be as sure as what they want to do. Maybe what they studied in college is completely different from what they're doing now, but they just know that they want to create an impact somehow. And so I kind of wanted to talk about that. And you next.
Great. Well, my name is Owusu-Achau. I call myself a chief farmer at Agro Kings, and chief farmer is just another title for the CEO of the company. But because it's an agriculture company, and I'll tell you a little bit more about why we chose the term farmer as opposed to CEO. As a company, our focus is mainly on empowering smallholder farmers, feeding the future, and then adding value to what we produce, and doing a lot of this mainly using technology. And so we do have a lot of technology embedded into what we do. Again, a bit of my background in college was computer science and information systems. And so it's no surprise that I bring technology into the agri space. A little bit about why I decided to join this career path. Again, I am passionate about the youth, and I recognize that over 50% of the population, African population, specifically in Ghana, is over 57%, is under 25. And so this goes without saying that the direction, the empowerment, the figuring out of the youth in this space is quite important, and I've committed myself to helping as many people as possible to be able to navigate that path, and to be able to create opportunities that some of these youth could play in. And so, yes, that's a bit about us, and about why I decided to be a part of this.
Cool. So I'm gonna talk about for me like what the basic prep and training is. I see that's like the next talking point for, well, it's like, so technically I have a career in communications, but I also have a career in like the social impact field through my nonprofit. And so for both, honestly, in my experience, there isn't necessarily any specific training that you need to have a career in communications, or even if you want to have like an impact driven organization. You just have to kind of study a lot and read a lot and become teach yourself. There are, of course, you can go to school for communications, you can go to school for like international development or international relations, and I'm not saying that that doesn't help, but that was in my experience. I found that I learned a lot about what a lot on my own by doing a lot of research. And for me in communications, and basically being in this like interesting niche that's like at the intersection of communications and impact, and being able to tell impact stories and make sure that impact driven organizations are equipped or are enabled to continue to do what they have to do. It's basically just about being creative and being able to I guess understand the same way with communications, like understand who your stakeholder is, what you're trying to reach, and like all the basic skills like writing, coming up with content plans. These are all things that you can learn on your own and read and learn through YouTube. So I wouldn't say that there's any specific like training or anything that you need to do, although there's a lot of really good training resources and content out there that you can use to read about. But in my experience, I taught myself, and I had a lot of really good employers who taught me a lot of things that I needed to know, and kind of they trained me on the job about how to tell stories in a compelling way, and that's basically what I do in this like intersection that I'm in. So yeah, that was my experience. How about you? I see Hemense joined.
Oh,
Hi.
hi. Apologies for being late. There was some technical issues on this side.
No worries.
But I don't want to stop the flow though, so please carry on. I'll jump in.
Yeah, I was done. I was just handing over to Nana to talk about like this.
Yeah, so Hemense, I guess you could go ahead and introduce yourself and a bit about what you do before we go into the basic prep and training.
Sure. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Hemense Orkar. I lead sales for an organization called AFEX Commodities Exchange. We are Nigeria's leading private sector ag-focused exchange, and it's an honor and pleasure to be here. I sort of stumbled into agriculture myself, but then looking back, all the roads were leading in this direction in the first place, coming from a family background and a development background, and also a little bit of what I studied in school. But the opportunity for growth was in agriculture as opposed to all the other sectors at the time I came back to Nigeria. So I'm excited for this conversation and looking forward to help out and assist wherever we can.
All right. Would you want to go right into the prep and basic training before I do that?
Okay. Yeah. So look, I mean, just quickly because I see we're running out of time. The whole idea is about how do you add value to any organization that you're looking to join. And I find that a lot of students coming directly out of school don't have hard skill sets that they can really readily deploy. So whether that's Excel skills, whether that's communications, just really find your niche and develop practical skills on that. That's actually going to set you ahead from the crowd.
Great. So, I mean, I'm not very different. I guess I didn't talk a bit about my role. So, I am the founder of Agro Kings, and we are primary producers of rice and then vegetables and then some value added products. So, we have a poultry side of our farm. We have a pig section, and then we have rice being our major thing, and then we just launched a cereal last month. With regards to prep and basic training, similar to Adaeze, I did not actually study agriculture at anywhere beyond junior high school. A lot of what I know today is really about reading a lot and then having a vision for a different type of future for Africa in terms of agriculture. Because, like I mentioned, I did read. Look, Africa is using less than 10% of our arable lands at the moment, and I think our goal here was to create some impact by making a bit of a difference in there. And so one of the ways that we managed to do what we do today is a lot of reading, a lot of open-mindedness. I do spend quite a bit with people who have gone ahead of me. So I have visited two of our national best farmers in the country. I visited their farm and then just kind of spoke to them a lot about what they're doing, how they got here, and things like that. So that was really for me how I managed to gain, and I am still learning a lot about how we do what we do. We have currently hired a Brazilian who has quite extensive experience in growing commercial scale rice farms. So that is where I get a lot of my training at the moment. Yeah, I think that's a bit about how I think that people could get into the sector.